As you may or may not know, my wife and I just got back from Vegas. It was a great trip. We ate, we drank, we had a blast. But then we got home and looked at the credit card, and I gotta say, it doesn't matter how much fun you're having, $25 for a drink is a ripoff. Frickin' Vegas. I hate getting ripped off, and so do the lads over at Harry's. They spent years watching the razor blade companies rip people off and said, no more. Not all heroes wear capes, my friends, and they want to prove that they're legit by offering you hot dogs a $13 trial set for just $3 at harrys.com/RTG. I've been telling you about them for months, and I'm genuinely proud to have Harry's as a sponsor of this show. I wasn't kidding. The plastic, futuristic-looking crap razors you get at the store are overpriced and they're poor quality. Harry's blades are crisp, clean, and classy. They're the kind of razor you'd expect your grandpa to have on his bathroom counter. And most importantly, they work. Shave after shave, they're so smooth, they're precise. I used to go through the crappy store blades all the time, but Harry's are built to last. And they're not just better quality than the other names, they're more affordable. And they deliver. Just set your schedule, and for as little as $2, new blades, shaving creams, lotions, everything you need, right to your door when you need it. I genuinely cannot think of a reason not to try Harry's. And I'm not just saying this because they're sponsors. They're the best shaving supplies I've ever used. Try them out, and if you're not happy, your shave's on them. And unlike the other subscriptions, they're really easy to cancel if you want to too, which is a nice bonus, but believe me, you're not going to want to cancel. Getting ripped off isn't funny. Switch to Harry's. Get started with a $13 trial set for just $3 at harrys.com/RTG. That's harrys.com/RTG for a $3 trial set. Remember the Game is brought to you by my website, abcomedy.net. As you may or may not know, I'm a comedian by night. And as much as I love talking about old video games, telling jokes is how I actually pay my bills. So please check out my website. In addition to old episodes of this podcast, you'll find my blog, videos of my stand-up, all of my upcoming shows, and my contact information. If you need a comedian for your next fundraiser, corporate event, house party, whatever you got going on, hit me up. Again, it's abcomedy.net. And if you're enjoying the podcast, please subscribe to it. Please leave us a good review. And most importantly, please tell a friend. I'd really appreciate it. There'll be a new episode every single Wednesday. Thank you guys so much for the support. I hope you enjoy the show. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Remember the Game, my retro gaming podcast, where every week a buddy of mine and I sit down and we geek out about a game from back in the day. My name is Adam Blake. Thank you so much for listening. This week, you guys, episode 37. We're going back to the Nintendo 64. My buddy Mark McCue is in the house, and we are talking one of the most overlooked, I guess, for lack of a better term, games, not only on the Nintendo 64, but maybe in Nintendo's history, and that's the original Paper Mario. For anyone that it's not an official sequel, I don't believe, but it's as close as we've gotten to a sequel to Super Mario RPG from the Super Nintendo, which is one of my favorite games of all time. And Paper Mario is fucking incredible, man. It's got all the polish and all the love put into it of Super Mario RPG, but it's just a completely different game. I can't imagine if you're listening to this that you don't know what I'm talking about, but just the art style of it, the creativity that goes into the battle, the combat, the clever writing that has become an absolute staple of like the Mario and Luigi series on the portable systems, found its way into Paper Mario. This game is, and this game paved the way for Thousand Year Door, which is one of my favorite games of all time. But so is Paper Mario. This game is fucking great. I haven't played this in a long time. I had a really good time reviewing it with Mark because it just brought back a lot of great memories. It's just a really clever, witty game. If Nintendo ever gets around to making a Nintendo 64 classic, this is the primary reason that I want to see it done. is this game and Mario Kart 64. And the wrestling games that I know aren't going to get put on it, but hopefully you can hack it. This game is rad, and it's not available on anything anymore. I mean, it was on the Wii Virtual Console. I'm not sure if it was on the Wii U Virtual Console or not. Probably not, because the Wii U one wasn't that good. And now, as we all know, and as I rant about later in this episode, fucking Nintendo is just sitting on a back catalog of incredible games and not giving us access to them. And it pisses me off because I want to play Paper Mario again. And if you haven't played it, find a way, because it's really, really good, you guys. This is absolutely one of the best titles on the Nintendo 64. Okay, quickly, I'll get my plugs and stuff out of the way, and then I'll just shut up and get to chatting with Mark. As you guys may or may not know, we have a website now. It's rememberthegamepodcast.com. All of our upcoming episodes, all of our episodes go there. Some blogs and stuff go there. Check it out. There's an email list and stuff, I guess, if you want to see that stuff too. We're also on Twitter and Instagram at @MemberTheGame. Just like Remember the Game, but without the RE at the front. We follow everybody that follows us back. I love interacting on there. I post, all our episodes and hints and just talk about gaming and stuff on there. So throw us follows on the old social media device. And it's really all I have to plug. Sorry, this is going to be a pretty quick intro. I've got a really, really busy day ahead of me, so I'm trying to get this thing done fast. As far as what I've been playing this week, hasn't been very much. Tetris 99 on the Switch. Nintendo ran kind of like a tournament for it over the weekend, where they were giving away $10 eShop gift cards to the top players of Tetris 99. So I played a ton of that just because I fucking love Tetris. And I've been dipping into Kirby's Adventures a little bit more on the NES, but I'm kind of looking for something new to play right now. I'm waiting for Yoshi's Crafted World at the end of March. As you probably, I guess if you've never listened to this, you don't know this. I'm a one console guy now. All I have is a Switch, and then my portal or my classic consoles and some of the old retro ones. I've been flip-flopping on picking up a PlayStation Classic, even though I know it sucks, just to kind of hack it and play with it. So, I don't know. I'm looking for advice, opinions. If you listen to this, if there's a classic console I should be playing or something on the Switch that I haven't played yet that I should be playing, please message me and tell me. I need something new to play. I feel lonely and weird not having a new... You know how I feel when you finish a game and you have nothing to play and you're just kind of sitting there trying to wonder what you're going to do with what to do with your life? Now, that's kind of how I feel right now with video games and life as a whole. All right, that's enough. I'll shut up. This is maybe the fastest intro I've ever done, but like I said, I'm doing this on Tuesday, and then I'm gonna get this thing converting into files and get the fuck out of here because I got to go out and do a bunch of stuff. Guys, I'll shut up. I'll get to the chat this week. My episode. I'll shut up and get to the chat on this week's episode with my buddy Mark. Cue the music. Mark is one of the best guests I have on this show. I love talking games with him. You guys are going to love it too. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the trip down memory lane as we talk Paper Mario for the Nintendo 64. Check it out, guys. Here we go. First of all, return to the podcast, fellow comedian, fellow geek, my pal Mark McCue. How's it going, buddy?
Doing all right. How are you doing?
I'm great. I'm excited for this episode, and I know I say that almost every episode, but I really am.
It's one of my favorite games.
Yeah, me too. Now, just for the record, and maybe I'll have mentioned this in the intro. When was the last time you played Paper Mario?
About a year and a half ago.
Okay.
I usually play it every year. I'm a little overdue this year.
Okay, then I'm counting on you because I have not played this game in... it's got to be 15 years.
Oh, really?
And so it's like, yeah, I did some homework. I look back. I was like, all right, we're good. If any of you nerds listen to this, like, I can't believe they forgot to mention blah, 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 which I don't think will happen because Mark's got my back because Mark plays it every year. Shut up. That's not what this podcast is about. And you know that by now. This is all about memories. Dude, this game, I'm trying to think of the word I want. I don't think necessarily this game is underrated. I do think it's overlooked. Maybe that's the word I'm looking for. When you talk about the great Mario games, everyone thinks of Mario.
Like, I know that you in the past have always said you're not a fan of Mario 64.
Oh, no, I'm not.
But to me, this is the great Mario game on the N64.
Oh, totally, dude. And this came out near the end of the Nintendo 64. Mm-hmm. It's did you own it growing up then?
I did, yeah.
Okay, because I didn't get it till it came out on the Wii Virtual Console. That was the first time I played it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because by the time it came out for the 64, I had moved on to my PlayStation.
Oh, that's fair, yeah.
And all that kind of stuff. Dude, this game is this game, this game is an absolute masterpiece. Like I don't even know where to start. I like doing my homework for this. I love this game so much.
I was talking about it with somebody a few days ago, and the thing that I appreciate so much about this game is in every other Mario game that's ever been made, it's like a bunch of like cool platform challenges. Like you go through the Mushroom Kingdom and you jump on some Goombas. This is the first game, I think, where the Mushroom Kingdom feels like a place where people live.
Yeah, totally. It does. You're right. Yeah. That's one of the things I had put down. Like the main hub, like what's it called? Toad Town?
Yeah.
Really does feel like a town, like where you could see like, oh yeah, toads live here and stuff like that, you know?
And then there's the path to the castle. Like even in Mario 64, like you show up at the castle and it's just kind of like there without any context.
Yeah, it's just in the middle of like a field of hills. Yeah. It's like this does feel like a real universe, you know. And like I don't know where to start with this. Like go
more than any other Mario game. This one the plot of this game is the same as every other Mario game.
Yep.
Bowser kidnaps the princess, but the way they tell this story is for my money, it's the definitive version of this story.
Sure.
They've never done this story better. Even like Thousand Year Door came a few years later, and it told a very different story, and it told that story very well. But this is the best version of the Bowser kidnaps Peach.
Yeah.
Hijinks ensue.
I agree with
story.
that because this game, this is. I mean, I don't believe it is technically a sequel to Super Mario RPG. But
when it started development, it was.
Right. And in a way it is because it's the next Mario RPG after Super Mario RPG. And like a Super Mario RPG, which if you haven't listened to, go back in the archives, check it out. I don't remember what episode it is. Doesn't matter. Is possibly my favorite RPG of all time, except maybe Earthbound. Like I adore.
It's a solid game.
Right. And this, like to me, playing it, I was like, this is Super Mario RPG, just different. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's you got to go after 7 stars. Like the writing in it is immaculate, and that's one of the things that the Paper Mario games, because I would argue that Paper Mario, once it got to the Wii one, Super Paper Mario, I think it was called, kind of lost its way a little bit. Like they weren't quite as, I didn't find them as entertaining.
I liked the Super Paper Mario for what it did, but it was a very different game.
It was this game, and then Thousand Year Door.
Thousand Year Door.
Those are masterpieces, and the writing in them is beyond.
And
top
then
shelf.
Then they went with like Paper Mario Sticker Star, and they kept kind of watering down the series after that.
Right. Like, have you played any of the Mario and Luigi games? I feel the same way about those as I do about this as far as the writing goes. Like they're clever, they're funny, they're entertaining. You know what I mean? Like you can only play Final Fantasy so many times where there's like it's dragons and airships and blah 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 blah. This is so, it's so childish but so hilarious at the same time. You know what I mean? It's like it's almost like playing a cartoon.
Well, yeah, no, it's, and there's so many like interesting characters. Like you'll come across Colorado, who's like a dude who's exploring, who's always getting himself into trouble, and you have to go save him.
Yeah, or were they called the Koopa Bros?
The Koopa Bro, yeah, like
I love them so much.
They were like the second boss or something like that.
Yeah,
you have to
and what the fuck is his name? The little guy in the egg.
Egbert.
Yeah, the little guy that keeps popping up, like he's like a little Koopa Troopa, isn't
I think his name's Egbert.
And he's just and he just keeps getting himself in these situations, and then he gets a new power and tries to and by the end of the game, he's got like 10 powers, right? Yeah. Like it's not just a generic RPG. Like it's really fun to just you actually want to read everything everybody has to. Like I'm bad for in a lot of RPGs, just like tap, like get through the dialogue. I just want to play the game. This one, I want to talk to everybody. I want to see what everybody has to say. It's so engrossing.
Everybody has something, because all of the characters have something interesting to say.
Yeah.
Like they maybe have like a little bit of story for you, or they have like a hint on a side quest, or like you go and you talk to like somebody in the kitchen and they're looking for specific ingredients to make a cake or something.
That's right. Yeah. Like it's not boring. You know what I mean? Like it's nothing about this game is boring. Like so my favorite thing about this, and like I know Thousand Year Door better than I know this game because I've played it more times, but I love them both. My favorite thing about these games is the combat.
Absolutely.
And it's like it's the same thing. It like so many RPGs you play and you just like,
Turn-based combat, you know.
It's unless it's a fight or a hard battle, it's just tap 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 tap.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can almost do it on autopilot. Like I can read on my phone while I'm fighting somebody.
Yeah.
Like just tapping A. You know what I mean? And these games like not Super Paper Mario. Super Mario RPG kind of started it with like the timed hits and things like that, but this game really took it to another level with the combat and how like every attack had like some little thing you had to do. It wasn't just tap the A button twice, right?
It was like tap it in time, and you can block or you can get an extra hit.
Yeah. And you have all the sidekicks, and they all have all these funky little attacks and stuff like that too.
Who was your favorite sidekick?
Probably the fish.
The fish?
Yeah, I can't remember. I haven't played in a long time, but yeah, probably because I just like Magikarp is my favorite Pokemon. I have such a thing for fucking stupid fish in video games.
Well, and she's so useful in like that volcano island.
Yeah, that's right.
Because because she can squirt water.
She squirts water.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you?
I love Parakarry. Mm-hmm. I also love like the ghost Bo.
Right. Yeah. Because he could turn you. He or she. She. Yeah, she could turn you invisible.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's one of the things I love too, is like I love the sidekick mechanic as opposed to having like a party of 5 that are just 5 characters that
each sidekick has a unique ability.
Yeah. And it's cool because like they have an ability that works in the overworld, but then they also like those exact same abilities in a way, like transition in. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Everyone that listens to this podcast knows about our illustrious CEO, my dog Molly. But the other silent partner behind the scenes is my wife. And let me tell you, my friends, a 17-year relationship with another person that has to talk to and live with you is a lot harder to maintain than one with a dog. We've had our ups and downs, and as you all know, a relationship isn't all sunshine and rainbows. They can be a lot of work. You get out what you put in when it comes to relationships, and talking to a therapist can be a fantastic way to put in some work. They can help you work through your issues, learn to communicate better, and even just provide you with an ear to bend when you need it. I've talked to my therapist about my relationships, especially when it came to my stand-up comedy career and how much I was away from home, and they helped me work on ways to keep my relationship strong even when I was out on the road. It turned out our relationship was actually better when I was out on the road, but that's a story for another day. And I know, right? Therapy. Who has the time these days? BetterHelp hears you, and they're making it easy. Fill out a quick form online, and they'll match you up with a therapist that suits your needs, and that'll work around your schedule. You pick the meet times, and you can get your therapy fix from anywhere, over video, phone, or just chat. Become your own soulmate, whether you're looking for one or not. Visit BetterHelp.com/rememberthegame today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/rememberthegame. To the battles. You know what I mean? Which kind of keeps you from like getting pulled out of one world and into another every time you go into a battle. It feels very
it's cohesive. Yes,
that's the word. I was like, I know it's a big C word and I can't think of it, but yeah, that's what it feels like. It's like it doesn't feel like you're getting pulled out of a world and into another one. You're just getting pulled into a battle, you know. And I love the fact that like there's certain villains like a paratroopa where you have to jump on them to knock them down, then you can hit them with your hammer. You know what I mean? Or the spiked guys, you can't jump on them. You have to hit them from the side, you know?
Yeah. I also love, like, each boss fight in this game has its own unique identity. Like, best example I can think of is Tubba Blubba. It's you get to this, like, kind of Spanish hillside, and it's a town full of ghosts, and there's these, like, rumors about this monster that eats ghosts. And there's never been, like, for my money, I can't think of another Mario game that does story as well as this one.
No.
Because you show up and you're like, oh, well, I guess we've got to go investigate this monster that's eating ghosts.
Right.
And then you get, like, you wake the thing up and it chases you through its castle and you find yourself in the bottom of a well and you have to fight its heart and you realize that, like, oh, its weak spot was its heart all along.
Yeah.
And you beat the boss.
It sounds like a Christmas movie or something. It is, but you're right. You
beat the boss, and it turns out he's a massive baby, just a huge coward.
Yeah. You're right. It's absolutely like, I mean, Mario's my favorite franchise of all time. You know what I mean? Like, particularly the platformers. but they are not exactly renowned for their storytelling.
No,
they're
because-
about save a princess, run from left to right.
Exactly.
This
There's
game,
a star up there. Find a way to get it.
right? This game, this could have been this could have been a movie. You know what I mean? Like the storytelling in it is so good. The writing is so good.
Absolutely, yes.
The characters are so memorable. Bowser is awesome in this. I love how you keep cutting to Peach. Oh yeah, so that's the thing too. Is it's like a book, right?
Yeah.
And you finish a chapter, and then at the end of each chapter, it goes to Peach, who's in Bowser's castle
With like the little Tink. Wait, what was it? Twink.
Yeah, the little sun thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The little the little star, the junior star in
That's it.
training.
Yeah, yeah. And she would you'd have to do these like little things where she would kind of figure out where to go next or what to do. And you had to do things like reading Bowser's diary.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
And just like you realize that also like Bowser's just a big friggin' baby as well.
He is, yeah, yeah. I don't mean to keep going back to it, but so my favorite thing about
Mario RPG.
the Mario RPG is Bowser's my favorite character, and he became my favorite character from that game because I love the way he looked in that game. He was a tank,
and he could be a party member.
and yeah, you got to play as him, and I thought he was hilarious. Like, because he would there are aspects where he would be like crying. And then he would turn around and see like Mario and them and just be like, "Rah, rah, 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 rah," and like pretend that he's like fine and tough, you know? And that began like this character of Bowser, which this game carries on perfectly. Where at the end of the day, you see that like he's just a big baby. You know what I mean? Like he's not this big, mean, has nothing to say villain. He's just a big crybaby at the end of the day. I love it. Like the series does Bowser so much justice.
And I like how you did like most Mario games, Bowser kidnaps Peach, and that's the last we see of her until the end.
Right.
Like even Mario Odyssey, which I think is an amazing game, it's very much just that. Like,
Yeah.
Bowser kidnaps Peach. You see her maybe like once in the middle and then right at the end.
Yeah, that's right. They're not even boring to play. Like I thought they might be kind of boring to play as Peach, you know, those little things. But the writing is so good that they make them entertaining enough that
and like you have to do that thing where you find that like shy guy in the kitchen and you have to bake him a cake.
Yeah.
And you have to do it exactly and you have to like time the like
30 seconds or something, right?
you have
Yeah.
to
I
count
forgot
30
all about
seconds
that.
without a timer. Yeah.
That's hilarious. Well, I guess that was the days before iPhones when everybody had a little stopwatch in their pocket and everything like that. But yeah, it was just there's no downtime in this game. Like it's always entertaining, you know, just running around. The world's so colorful. I can't think of a game before this. And maybe I'm wrong, but I can't think of a game before this where they did such a great job of making it come like building this unique world. Like it'd be like a world built of Lego or something like that. Like this is everything's built of paper, and it's so obvious that everything is built of paper, and the way that things fall over and like buildings unfold and things like that. You know what I mean? Like they it may seem commonplace now with like all the different Lego games and you know, there's like that Yoshi game coming up and like Woolly World and all these things. But this was one of the first ones where they really went out of their way to have a unique art design to it, you know?
Like they crafted, like they made a world made of paper and they didn't shy away from being like, this is a world made of paper. In fact, we're going to call it Paper Mario.
Right. Yeah. And I wonder why they did that. Like, I wonder why they came up with, like, I wonder why they didn't just make it another Mario game, like where they were like, let's just make it completely out of paper.
The original idea was they were going to make it like a new Mario RPG game. And they were developing that, and they didn't know how to get it, like, because I think it was it Capcom that did the original Mario RPG? Square Enix, yeah. So they like had like problems with the licensing there.
Yeah.
So they had to call it something new. And one of the designers that was working on this game, just like in his free time, made this like paper diorama thing with Mario. And like Luigi and Yoshi, and they're like, "Oh, this aesthetic, we want to do that. We'll make the whole game that."
I didn't know that. That's really cool. Like, I love the way that the novelty of it never goes away to me. That every time you turn him around, like he's completely paper thin. Like he really is just made of paper, you know. And I can't remember if they did it in this one. I remember in Thousand Year Door, you could do things like turn him into a paper airplane.
Yeah, they didn't do it for so much in the first one, but in the second one, yeah, they really played on the paper aesthetic.
I love it, man. I love that design choice. I just think it looks beautiful. It's clever.
Thing I loved a lot about this game is, well, the music. I think that the music is like, that's one of the most underrated.
It's very charming.
It's and it pulls you in, and it just makes you feel like it's just one of those games you're playing and you just feel happy when you're playing it.
Yeah. It just has that it's got that Nintendo polish. I know I'm an unbiased Nintendo fanboy, but it has that polish to it.
But it also has like it has a challenge level to it. Like you have to,
Yeah.
you absolutely have to make sure that your character is balanced throughout. You can't just like every time you level up, you have an option of getting like hearts or firepower or more badge power.
Right.
Which is another thing I love about the game, the whole badge system. You can like equip different badges and they do different things for you. I think that's amazing.
Yeah, the badge thing is that's another thing that kind of seems commonplace now, where you like as you acquire these like different badges require so many like notches or like in this case badge points or whatever, and you acquire them throughout and you have to come up with different combinations and stuff. But like that was pretty new, man.
Yeah.
When that game came out, it was like I guess it's like a very basic version of like Materia. Maybe from like Final Fantasy VII, where you have so many slots and you can play with different combinations.
Yeah, it's very similar to that from Final Fantasy VII.
But it gave it another reason to explore too, because you're always like, man, finding some of those badges was badass.
Well, and finding some of those badges and then realizing you don't have enough badge power for them,
right?
And you had to wait until the next time you had badge power. It gave you a reason to play. Like everything about this game gives you a reason to continue playing it. I've never gotten bored in the middle of this game and stopped playing, not even once.
No, and that's one of the notes I made on this game is like I admittedly, as much as I love RPGs and like JRPGs,
there are definitely games that I'll go back and play and I'll be like Final Fantasy III, I love that game, but there are times that I've been playing it where I'm like, I know what happens after this.
You get bored of it. You tap out, and exploring, and that's one of the biggest notes I wrote, all capital letters, no random encounters.
Yeah,
is a fucking godsend.
I can't believe that that's still not the standard for every RPG.
Right? Like that ruins some game, like Final Fantasy 2 and 3 or 4, 6, whatever. Or I love both of those games, but admittedly, I hit a point where I stopped exploring so much because I'm like, I don't want to run into more. I don't want to go back to areas and run into fucking.
Well, you run into like
boring.
an enemy on average like every 10 steps or so.
Yeah.
You're going to be like, I'm not going to go there then.
Right. And
because
almost
it's just hard. Like it's just tedious to get through.
It is. And that's what it is like, especially when you know there's no chance of dying, but you can't get enough experience points out of them to really make it worthwhile.
So it's just you hitting run over and over.
Yeah,
again.
yeah.
And like even and as much as I love the series, even Pokemon did it.
Sure.
And they did it. They moved away with it with their
with Eevee and Pikachu.
Remakes, yeah.
I when I talk about the Super Nintendo, like Earthbound, Super Mario RPG, Chrono Trigger, and I had some critical opinions on that game, but I love the no random encounters, and I feel the exact same way about this game. Like I can see a villain coming, and if I don't want to fight him, either because I'm scared of him or because he's not worth my time anymore, it's very easy to just. Most of the time, it's pretty easy to just avoid them. Because another thing that this game does is it scales the experience.
Yeah.
Right?
Like if you can't go back and just grind that first level over and over again until you've maxed your character out.
Right, because it hits a point where you don't get any experience.
Yeah.
Right? Which that's perfect. Like you're right. Like in this game I haven't looked up the date yet. I won't look it up till I actually go to post this, but this game has to be 20 years old. It has to be. And like how the fuck is that not just the way every RPG works in today's society?
Yeah, like there's still RPGs that will give you random encounters, and there's still like even Octopath Traveler.
That's what I was just gonna say.
Which we both had a lot of fun with, still doing the random encounter thing.
And it hits a point where I'll turn it off after a while because I'm just like. I'm just trying to get from A to B, and I don't feel like fighting these guys that I can.
And you don't feel like exploring, and that's such a huge part.
Right.
Of gameplay,
and that's where games like this game, I mean, I could sink another 15 or 20 hours into this game. Just like not only are you exploring, and you don't have to worry about random encounters, you're looking for badges and things like that. But like it's everything you find is funny. Or entertain, you know what I mean? It's never monotonous. It's always something entertaining that you can find,
And because of it shows you how much you have to go until your next level up.
Yeah.
It shows you it's every 100 star bits.
Yeah.
So, and because of those badges that you always want to equip, because you always want more health, because you always want more firepower, you always want to get in those fights.
Right.
There's never been a it rarely happens in Paper Mario where you get into a fight and you're like, oh, fuck. Okay.
Right. Yeah. Like, I mean, between the like I say, no random encounters, all the grind, all that kind of stuff. And then you throw in, like we had already talked about, like the different combat mechanics and how they switch it up. It's not just a matter of like A for attack, A for attack, A for attack, and then all your different sidekicks and like and playing with their abilities and how their abilities affect different bad guys and things like that.
And the star power thing was cool.
Oh yeah, because you could summon the stars once you save them.
Once
you can
you
summon
save them, and they do certain things for you.
That's
like
right.
they heal you, or they give you more firepower. Or there was that one, I think it was the second guy, who like will just rain stars on every enemy, and it does like 7 damage to everybody.
Yeah, that's perfect. I forgot about those guys. And the way you just said that, how they do like 7 I love that it's not like thousands and hundreds of thousands of hit points.
Yeah.
It's like you do like a huge amount of damage is like 12.
Yeah.
Like it does it. And I think that to someone that had never played this game, you would look at that and be like, this is like RPGs for babies, but it's not, you know what I mean? Like it's just
like if you look at like most RPGs, like the numbers are arbitrary.
Totally.
They could easily have been like, if you have like a boss that has like 2,000 hit points, you could easily make that one with 200.
Yeah.
And have your damage do like 1/10 the amount.
Yeah, and it just is. It's a curious decision to me, and I wonder why more. Like, I wonder why they did that and why more don't. I guess maybe it was just for the simplicity's sake of it, because it does, like, it is simple, but the game is not simple. It just, there's no reason to add all these extra zeros and stuff on there for absolutely no reason. You know what I mean?
I mean, I guess maybe the theory is like it's super satisfying to do like 1,000 damage to something.
I guess so, because that is.
If it's like $100,000 damage to kill it.
Yeah, because I guess that's true. It is. But the thing is you play this for a little while and then you do like 7 or 8 damage and you're like, oh yeah, I just did 8 damage,
Yeah,
like
I don't know. I feel like I do feel like that's better.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, more games should do that. More games should take hints from this game and make your combat fun and get rid of random encounters and just use low numbers that are just easy to keep track of. Just do all of those fucking things. Dude, when people talk about the greatest RPGs of all time, I can't imagine, at least 99% of people don't bring up Paper Mario.
I feel like they should, because
they really should.
It is one of the best RPGs ever made.
And I felt that, and I know I keep bringing it up, but I felt the same way about Mario RPG. They found a way to take Mario and that charming world and almost like at times the combat almost feels I know it's not platforming, but it has those platforming aspects. Like I said, jumping on a guy that's flying and now you can hit him with your hammer while he's on the ground.
Yeah.
Or
it's just like simple puzzle solving like that.
Right. Or like Koopa Troopa. I can't remember all the sidekicks' names. It's been so long since I played it. But like you can kick the Koopa Troopa, right? And then any bad guy that's on the floor gets hit like a line.
Yeah.
But if they're flying, then he'll miss them.
Yeah, which is why I really like Parakarry, because he can knock out, like he can hit anything on the screen.
Right. And so and I know that happens in like other games, like in Final Fantasy, you can float and stuff like that, but not to the level that it does in this game. Like that's just classic Mario, Like you said, when you go into the volcano, guys spit fire at you, but you could spray them with water from the cheap
from sushi,
sushi, and now they don't have their fire anymore. Like that's just got that's that Mario and that Nintendo charm.
And
put it to
each one of your sidekick characters, it has its own like unique. Except for Goomba, he can fuck himself.
Yeah, he's useless.
But wait, what? I can't even remember the first sidekick's name. Goombario, I think.
He's the one that can tell you things about the villains, right?
And it's like at the middle of the game, you're useless to me.
Yeah. And that's another thing I love is I love that all the sidekicks are all villains. Like they're not in this game, but they're all bad guy characters. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it's not like, because they could have, and I mean maybe some people would argue that they should have, I guess, but like they could have made the sidekicks like Luigi and Toads and Yoshi, and you know what I mean? Like Mario's actual allies. But instead you can recruit like Goombas and Koopa Troopas and Bob-ombs and things like that, and they're your helpers. I think that's really cool.
I've never thought of that.
I think that's really neat.
And like you've got like a Watt character that is like that. It's like those electrical things that would fly around
from Super Mario
Bowser's
World
Castle.
that would hug edges. Yeah. That's a really cool little touch too. That's just one more thing where they could have done the easy thing and instead they changed it up.
They changed it up, and again they made it feel like a real world that you live in, because it's now like you almost add like a whole like racial element to it, where suddenly like it's like, oh no, not all Goombas are bad. Or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, it totally
And
does.
suddenly,
yeah.
like, Mario's not just this big Goomba racist that's going on. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna stomp on the first Goomba I see.
And then the next time you go to play, it makes you wonder, like, I don't want to jump on these guys. That might have been maybe that might be
Could
one
have
of my
been
buddies.
Goombario.
It's almost Metroidvania. Like I know that this term is completely overused today. The Metroidvania, but it has hints of it to it. You know, where
there's
like
certain areas you can't go until you unlock certain abilities.
right, yeah, and that's one of the things I really adore about these games is like by the end of the game, like when you're ready to go finish the game, it's like I just want to explore. You know what I mean? Like now I can get anywhere. You know, because I hate when you find something and you're like, fuck, I can see like there's cracks in the wall right there. Like clear as day, there's a way to fucking get through those, but I don't know what it is yet. And then you unlock it.
And then you unlock it and you're like, oh right, that thing from earlier.
Right. And I adore that about any type of these games, not just these games, any kind of Metroidvania, whatever you want to call them. I love going back and just being like, all right, now I got to clean all these areas up. You know what I mean? Like there's something very satisfying about that to me. And it's been done a million times. But I never get sick of it. And for the fact that not only is it done in this game, but it's done in a way where it's not, you're not unlocking Mario powers, you're unlocking sidekicks that can also use those powers to battle in different ways. And you never know how a guy's attack is going to affect an enemy and stuff like that.
And each one of those sidekicks has its own unique story.
Yeah.
So it's like, not only are you like being like, yeah, I got that thing. You're like, oh, now I have this character who's part of the story.
Yeah. Man, what a fucking... It's so funny when I was doing my homework and just looking at it. I'm like, at a glance, if you never played this game, it looks
what a
so,
weird game.
Yeah, it looks weird, and it looks like one of. It's not even necessarily a knock, but one of the things with Nintendo now is like some of their games are so easy. Like the Yoshi game that's about to come out, Yoshi's Crafted World.
It's gonna be easy.
It looks so easy.
It's gonna be fun, but it's gonna be easy.
Sure, and like in Kirby games are almost frustratingly
and it didn't
easy.
always used to be like that.
No,
like
it didn't.
Like the original Kirby games for the NES, I remember those were pretty tough.
I'm replaying that right now on my Switch.
Oh, really?
The original Kirby's Adventure, and yeah, it's got some bite to it, you know. And I think that some people would look at this game if you've never played it and think that that's what this is. You're like, oh, so his stats are at the top of the screen and his hit points are out of 20. And then he has like 10 flower points, and it's like, and that's all the stat, you know. And then you have coins, and then your star bits or whatever to level up. But that's it. And you're looking at it, you're like, so the sidekick doesn't even have his own like hit points and flower points.
No,
and
but you
stuff
can
like that?
upgrade the sidekicks, which I thought was cool.
Right, like it's much deeper than it appears at a glance. You know what I mean? Someone could watch a battle and be like, you're doing 5 damage, your hits are 20, and you've got like 3 moves. And it might seem so simple and basic. There's so much to it. And I don't know how Nintendo manages to do all that and still keep it looking like something that anyone could just pick up and play.
I also feel like they did the final boss extremely right.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't remember. I mean, I assume it's Bowser, but I don't remember it.
It's Bowser, and you have to fight him. He has the star rod that makes him invincible.
Right.
You have like the 7 stars that will make him uninvincible.
Right.
And basically, you have to fight him while he's in this super powered state. And every time he uses the star rod on him, you have to use a new move that like negates it.
Oh,
and
cool.
then while that's happening, there's like a side fight between Peach and like the witch.
Oh, rad. I don't remember this.
And like you have to fight with Tink because like the whole idea, or Twink, and the whole idea is like, well, you're fighting Bowser and he's like invincible and he got this star rod. Off to the other side, there's this like little star character that you've been following throughout the whole game, and he's kind of like, he's getting more powerful as this fight keeps going. So he like, as soon as they beat the like Peach and this Twink character beat the witch, Twink then helps you fight Bowser because he's just that little extra that you needed to push you over the top.
That's so rad. You know, I just finished playing Final Fantasy VI like a month ago. And as fun as it is, you get to the end and it's like you have 12 guys, you have your whole team, you put them into parties, and you just keep hammering away at this really strong guy until he dies.
Yeah.
And it's all, you know, and I'm not shitting on Final Fantasy VI. It's a great game.
It's a great game,
but that's all, you know what I mean?
But
it's the same as most
RPGs.
RPGs. The final boss just has a billion hit points, and you just pound away until he dies. To add all that stuff in,
like
that's so
much,
rad.
There's so much story element to the end of this game.
And then maybe this was Thousand Year Door. Is this the one where you're like fighting in front of an audience too, like a play?
No, that was Thousand Year Door. That was the thing they added for Thousand Year Door.
I love that mechanic too, where you could get like the applause and stuff like that to get more points. All right, I didn't mean to derail.
Oh no, not at all. We do need to come back and talk about that game.
Oh God, I want to play these two games so bad. This is honestly like Paper Mario is in probably the 5 top reasons I do want a Nintendo 64 classic. Because if they do release one someday, this game no doubt is on it.
It has to be.
It's a no-brainer, right? It's Nintendo owns it. It has been. I don't think that, other than the Virtual Console, this game has never been re-released anywhere. It's not available on anything.
I mean, like on the Wii U, you can get it on like the Virtual Console and like
but like a lot of those Mario 64 was remade for the 3DS or the DS or whatever, and Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask were remade. Like not most, but like Perfect Dark is available on the Xbox. Like so many of those big Nintendo 64 games are available at least somewhere else.
I kind of think it's a little tragic though that Thousand Year Door was never released anywhere outside the GameCube.
Me too.
I think that one of the things I would love to see is maybe like a Paper Mario trilogy on the Switch.
Yeah, give it like Paper Mario,
like 1, 2,
Thousand Year Door, and Super Paper Mario. Yeah, totally.
Like something like that. I would be like, if they were like, $80.
Yeah,
Paper Mario trilogy. I'd be like, oh yeah, that's worth it. Like I probably am never gonna play that third one again.
Yeah, no,
because it was weird. It was fun, but it was really weird and opposite. Like
I found it boring at times.
A little bit.
Compared
like,
to
there was
other
a
two.
part where you have to like spend 30 minutes on like a treadmill or something, which was like, oh, that was not fun. But like if they released like a Paper Mario trilogy, I'd be like, for like $80, I'd be like, that's $40 a game for me.
Totally. Yeah.
That's no question.
Not to go on a side tangent, but like to me, the GameCube is like probably my 3 favorite consoles of all time.
Oh, easy.
Like,
yeah, it's
it's the Super Nintendo, the Switch, the Xbox 360, and the GameCube. It'd be 3 of those 4 are my favorite systems ever.
Because it was the last because it was like right before the Wii, which I didn't. Everybody loved the Wii. I didn't love the Wii.
No, the Wii, outside of I don't care what anyone on here says, and I'll stand by this. Outside of Virtual Boy, the Wii is the worst home console Nintendo made. I'll stand by that. I just don't enjoy it.
I wouldn't argue too hard against that. Just like I feel like there were some great games on it. It had those Galaxy games.
Those 2 Galaxy games are. I would pay $100 to have those 2 Galaxy games on my Switch. $100.
And also the thing that the Wii did do very right at the time was it was the first Nintendo console that let you buy like Nintendo. And Super Nintendo
the Virtual
games.
Console was rad, but the Wii is not a great system. The GameCube was. The GameCube was phenomenal. And when I think back to the GameCube, outside of the incredible array of sports games on it, and I don't mean real sports games, I mean Mario Tennis, Mario Strikers, Mario Golf, like all those types of games. Outside of those, I think of Resident Evil 4, and I think of Thousand Year Door. And Thousand Year Door,
Wind Waker as well, for sure.
And Wind Waker, sure. But even Wind Waker has become available again, you know? And when I think of Thousand Year Door, Thousand Year Door is I cannot express how much I love that game.
It's the Majora's Mask of the series.
Sure.
Because they got the Bowser kidnaps the princess stuff out of the way, so they told a weirder story.
A weird story, sure. But it was playing that game and loving it so much that as soon as Paper Mario popped up on the Wii Virtual Console, I was like, oh fuck, I gotta see where this started.
You have to play the original.
And I played through and was like, this is as good as Thousand Year Door. Like they're both, and I really like some of the Mario and Luigi games on the Game Boy Advance and the 3DS. And I love, like I said, Mario RPG. But these 2 Paper Mario games are just perfect. Like they did so many unique, weird things, but they did them all. Like, there's not one aspect of this game I don't enjoy. Not one thing.
No, it has, a weird, it at times has, a dark sense of humor. It's it tells a great story. It has an amazing, combat system.
Yeah. Yeah, it's everything about it. I love it. That's, oh boy, I gotta, you still have your Nintendo 64.
I do, yeah.
And you still have this game with it.
I don't have this game with it
no?
anymore.
So,
no.
how are you playing it?
I played it on the Wii Virtual Console.
Oh.
And now, I've been craving this game for a while.
Yeah.
But I also, I just moved, so
right.
My Wii is still in a box. And I'm like, well, I've got to unpack that box. And then I would have to... And it wouldn't even take me that long to do. I'm just so lazy that I'm just like, no, I want them to release it on the Switch now.
I get it.
Just so I can take a bus too.
Me too, man. I've been very tempted to order like a Nintendo 64 USB controller and just ROM and just get a couple of them. This is one of those ones that I look at it and I'm like, I don't want to play it so bad.
Yeah, that'd be great.
And it's like, and you know what? I'm not sitting here justifying playing ROMs and all that good stuff. But like, how about Nintendo? If you give us a way to play your incredible backlog of games or back catalog of games, we wouldn't have to go to ROMs. Just, you've got the single most iconic back catalog of video games in the history of the industry.
They're releasing it on such a trickle. Like, hey, we've got some NES games on the online. And we're like, that'd be great 2 years ago.
Right? Like, it's just, you know what's funny, man? And like, we'll shut up. We'll score this thing and get out of here in a second. Do you remember when the Virtual Console first came out on the Wii? Everyone was like, what a cool idea.
Yeah.
And then every week Nintendo would announce like 2 or 3 or 4 more games. And people were like, come on, this is bullshit. And now we have Nintendo Online with the Switch where we've got about 30 NES games and that's it out of that entire incredible back. And we're like, fuck what I wouldn't give to have the Virtual Console back. Like, it just frustrates me to no end.
Like, I know that they have to be planning something. There has to be a reason that they didn't do Virtual Console, but we're 2 years into the Switch's life, and I'm like, I want to see what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I really like the core concept of for my online, like for my online, because you pay. In Canada here, I think it's $25 a year you pay. I think it's $25 or $30 a year for online.
Really cheap.
And for that, you know, I do have all the NES games, not all of them, but I have all these NES games. It's up to like 30 or something now that I can just play on my Switch anywhere I want. And I can play them online, and I have save states. And I'm like, that's rad. But like, and $30 is very cheap for online compared to Xbox and Sony.
Well, and the cool thing is, like, you can play, like, my brother and I played through Mario 3 together, and he lives in Calgary.
It's great, but like, how about Nintendo? And I guarantee you most people would feel the same way. I would be willing to pay the $60 or $70 that you have, that you have to pay for Xbox Gold or PS Plus for Nintendo Online if you just somehow figure out fucking voice chat. And I don't even use voice chat. But how the fuck have you not had voice chat?
I don't care about voice chat.
I just really. I just don't get how you don't have it. And just give us Super Nintendo and Nintendo 64 games. Just like they're right there. You can just make money off them. Just make more money off of them. GameCube games, I'm happy to pay for. Release GameCube games at $20 a pop again, and I will pay for tons of them.
Oh, dude, I can think of it. Like,
I just
there's so
don't
many
get
games
it.
that I would pay $20 for. Like, Thousand Year Door, I would like.
Right?
They're like, yeah, $20 for that. I'd be like, oh, well, that's. I don't care how broke I am. I have $20 for Thousand Year Door.
You know what frustrates me the most about this conversation is that here's two nerds sitting in a spare bedroom telling Nintendo, this is why you don't, like, you guys are fucking up. This is why. Meanwhile, they have the hottest selling console on the market and they're worth billions of dollars. But they could be worth more billions.
And we're both two comedians worth, I don't know,
a combined
$40 a piece.
$50, yeah. But like, I just don't get it. That's all. So I'm not sitting here saying play ROMs. I'm just saying if there's no other, I'll tell you. Okay, we'll score this. We'll go. I know I already said this once. I'm big on, like, I don't illegally download movies. I don't. Yeah. I very quickly got out of illegally downloading music. I don't think I'm better than other people that do it. I am a big believer in, like, hey, if you put in the work and you create a product, I'm happy to pay you in exchange for your product. And I do feel that way.
But that said, that I kind of do like the model of, like, the Apple Music or
me too. But even that, you're not stealing anything. They're
No.
still getting their royalties and stuff, right? That's fine as long as there's a service, a legal
I also
service.
feel like performers make most of their money off of live performances.
Totally. Yeah. All the point is just that, like, when it comes to video games, in a way, a ROM is no different than downloading a movie illegally, or, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, having said that, if there's no way for me to buy a game from a company, then I have no problem with downloading the ROM and playing. I have none.
Yeah.
Because if there is a way for me to buy it from you and give you money to play your game, I totally will.
But where's Thousand Year Door? How do I buy that?
Exactly.
It's not for sale anywhere.
Exactly. And you can say, like, well, you could go out buy a GameCube and buy a pre-played version of it, and you totally can, but Nintendo gets nothing out of that.
Yeah.
Nintendo gets nothing out of that. Nothing.
And you have to go find, like,
if anything, I have to fucking pay some shitty reseller at a fucking swap meet for it.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
That went off the rails, but Paper Mario's a great game.
Feels good. Paper Mario's a masterpiece. What would you give Paper Mario out of 10, Mark, today?
9.8.
I was going to be like 9.8, 9.9. The only reason it doesn't get a 10 from me is because I won't give anything else a 10. But it is a 10. It loses 0.1 for not being Super Mario World. It's only not
0.1 for not being available to buy anywhere.
It's a absolute masterpiece. What a phenomenal game.
Yeah.
Good stuff, buddy. Good job.
Yeah.
That was good.
Thank you.
And that's going to do it for this week's episode. Mark, thank you so much for coming over. And you guys, thank you so much for downloading and listening and subscribing and sharing and all that good stuff that you do. I really appreciate it. That's going to be it. I know I'm kind of wrapping this thing up really fast, but I have to go out and do a bunch of stuff like I mentioned in the intro, if you remember that far ago. Thanks you so much for listening, you guys. Our download numbers are staying up there. I can't thank you all enough. And that's it. Go play some video games. Enjoy the nice weather. It's finally getting warm outside. And I will be back in 7 days with another episode of Remember the Game. Thank you guys so much. Take it easy. Cheers.